Hello, this is Joshua Hilditch, and this is my speech on the presidential term. The general purpose of this speech is to persuade the audience. Within this speech, my objective is to convince the audience to see the reasons why a single term is advantageous for our presidential system. This speech is a stand against the publicity-centered process that has become our presidential system and to offer a solution by changing the two-term system into a single six-year term. This to announce that there must be no criticism of the President, or that we are to stand by the President right or wrong, is not only unpatriotic and servile, but is morally treasonable to the American public. And that is Theodore Roosevelt, a great president and a great patriot. The topic of this speech is the critical perspective of bringing the inefficient system of presidential election to a halt and allowing for new options of electoral systems to be reviewed. In particular, the suggestion of a single six-year term with a mandatory yearly competence review that allows for Congress, the Senate, and the general public to decide if the elected representative in office has met or exceeded the goals and policies said to be fulfilled when they were a candidate. Also, after 3 years of service, the option of two new presidential candidates if the yearly reviews do not meet a formulated level of acceptance or approval. The subject of politics has always been a hot topic in my household since I was young. It is a subject that my grandfather got me into early in life and would inform me thoroughly on day-to-day events and expect me to debate and discuss and uphold a position through discussion. The audience should care about this speech because it is relevant to every U.S. citizen to be aware of the ability for the discourse of new ideas to be presented and adopted within government if the implication would be improvable to the system as a whole. Within the main points of this speech, I would like to focus on the effects of the four-year term system, bring up the current situation, then analyze the importance of change within a governmental system in the direction of evolving with the times and needs, of allowing for the introduction of new ideas to hold the value of serious consideration. With this in mind, I would like to describe the situation of our electoral system. The four-year system as we know it has stood for centuries, with earlier presidents not even having a two-year term limit. Within this system, people would find someone that seemed adequate, but with such longevity in approach comes the unfortunate stagnation of change. Life has changed, and each president plays an important role in moving the country in the right direction, towards a brighter tomorrow. Within a four-year term, a president has to maintain the appeal of the major population groups that will be advantageous for his re-election. The first term always becomes null in past presidencies for need to maintain the public image for at least for the first 4 years for any hope of re-election. This leads to promises and policies unfulfilled because the individual who is supposed to represent the fullest act of civil duty by becoming the executive representative is in a position where highly specified groups need to be satisfied instead of the general populace. This also plays a large role in the bi-party system, which is a big contributor to the fact of a president supporting one party's issues over another, and needing to uphold all the positions of the party instead of individually deciding on issues. This leads to the objective of change as the primary means of finding alternatives to systems that are proving outdated in ways and could be advanced with an open mind and outlook on the Constitution and country as a living entity that needs to be treated as such. The evolution of a system is the adaptability of such a system to refine itself in accommodation with its environment. In a political system that needs to be openness to approaches without losing the grounds to which a country is founded. Many of the great ideas that have been built with this country's conception are still completely relevant with today's world as it is. Others, unfortunately, are not, and sticking to a rigidness of tradition for the sake of keeping something that, because it already is in effect, leads to the eventual blindness of the fluid world around us. Open-mindedness is realizing that ideas are always welcome because you never know when innovation could completely fulfill itself, making a positive difference in ways previously unimagined. I think the system we work in, specifically a bi-party system, leads to the decay of an individual's right to stand in support of certain issues and in opposition of others freely. The introduction of a single six-year term will allow for the focus of a presidential system to reclaim its place as one of civil duty, one of the individual service to the highest honor of selflessness, instead of for the agendas of a single party or individual. With the focus shift from being elected and then being re-elected, the focus will be moved to the highest potential success within the time given. Without this push for performance, the position remains as it is instead of allowing for the position to uphold a true sense of need, as it should. I believe the appeal for the system for certain types of individuals will also be lessened by having a more rigorous review process, making those who are actually driven to improving their system the ones who step up to the plate, the proverbial plate, I should say. This is the highest single position that we can elect within our system, and we should be aware of the possibility of improvement in any way that can be beneficial. Through this speech, I hope that the stirring of in-place systems can come into effect in the minds of the audience in order for them to also take up the interest in improving the ideas that we base our politics upon. The future is ever-changing. The world, the country we live in, is ever-changing. We need to adapt as a nation in order to remain the free, individualized, home-worthy country that we have intended ourselves to be. The electoral college system, the bi-party system, and most specifically, the presidential term system all need to be able to be reviewed for the hope of new improvements to become reality.